Hi, Breaky. Hi, Zyori. Today we're going to interview with reference to your experience with the C teams and the CIS teams. Can you please introduce yourself?
I'm BreakyCPK. I'm a shoutcaster for Here's a New Earth.
I'm Zyori, also a shoutcaster for Here's a New Earth. Breaky and I have been casting together for about 6 months now.
You guys have been casting the DreamHoN matches. How do you think the teams did?
Oh, the teams, they did fantastic. I mean, this event was pretty much all that we could have asked for when it came to the skill level, when it came to this exciting matches. We definitely got upsets. We really got everything we could have asked for in such a great event. So it was awesome that it played out that way.
Yeah, I feel really confident saying that we had a tournament where we really had some of the best players in the world going head to head. Looking at the finals, Fnatic Raid Call winning the tournament. It feels good to say they really did beat some of the best players from all regions. CIS, SEA, Oceanic, North America, the best of the best. So I think everyone performed very well.
Orange Esports was specifically have been really recommended by a lot of players to be a really strong potential team this DreamHack. What do you guys have to say about that?
Well, Orange Esports, and again, from the couple of the matches that we did get to cast them, and from what we've been hearing from other players, including from Fnatic Raid Call, of course, who they beat, they're very skilled individual players, and that's just exciting news. And obviously, with them, their only downfall maybe is that their lack of experience, as expected. Of course, they are newer onto the scene, but as that grows in experience, they're definitely going to be teams to look out for on the competitive HoN scene.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They upset Fnatic Raid Call, and that was a really big deal. At the beginning of the group phase, Fnatic Raid Call was 1-2, and that's really scary. I mean, that's a really rough way to start off the group phase, and that was a pretty big upset. Of course, being the returning champions 3 years prior, or 3 DreamHacks prior, I should say. Pardon me. It's a pretty big deal. I actually got a chance to talk to Nova this morning, and he said, don't underestimate Orange Esports. Individually, they are absolutely amazing. He was citing some things that XXF was doing. And he said, just an amazing player. He said the foresight that he had to have just from stacking Ancients, moving across the map, their positioning, everything. They're a really solid team on an individual level and as well as their cohesion as a team. He said their biggest pitfall right now is drafting. And, as Breaky said, that comes with experience. And, being a newer team on the scene, it sort of makes sense. So I think as they get more experience and as they play more in the international client, as they have in some of the It's Gosu tournaments and various other big events that have been international, those drafting skills will only improve. So, although they didn't qualify in the top 4 in this event, I think they'll be coming back and looking better than ever.
Will you guys be interested in casting for future SEA and CIS tournaments? If so, are there any teams from any particular regions that you would like to cover?
Absolutely. I mean, again, we really got a good idea of what to expect out of the Southeast Asia and CIS teams, and it was awesome, both in the sense of gameplay and even personalities. Meeting them in person was pretty awesome, and it sounds like they had a great time here. They appreciated the experience, but again, it was really a great experience just getting to meet them, but also see their playstyles, and I would love to see more action from these teams. Orange Esports, MUFC, Team GA from CIS, of course. Overall, just a lot of fun to watch. So.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly agree. It's fairly well established, I think, at least by a lot of people, that the SEA as well as the CIS clients have a different play style. Some heroes that they favor that aren't favored in the international client and vice versa. So it's really interesting to me to see a game like Heroes of North that has over 100 heroes, and we can only see 10 per match. There are so many combinations, so many variables with all the different items, different lane combinations. Every game is a unique experience. So seeing individuals from other regions that have a different take on how to organize all of those variables is very intriguing to me, and it's cool. That's how we see Heroes of North grow, by experimentation.
You have seen how HoN methods game change throughout this years. Do you see the future playstyle of the meta game of HoN change with the new introduction of the C and CIS teams? As they are known to have a very different game strategy compared to those teams in traditional HoN.
Yeah, as Zyori kind of touched on the end there, and that's what helps make an international competitive scene for any game, especially Heroes of New Earth, awesome, because there is going to be a better chance with the international HoN scene, that in certain regions they have their own play styles, they have their own strategies, they have their own hero picks, as we've seen so much throughout history. With, again, competitive esports in general, that it really brings a lot to the table. So that's just really what truly makes that international experience, that you are getting that diversity when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think one of the few pitfalls for Heroes of North right now is we have a relatively small scene. And with that, there's just, again, so many variables. We just need more people experimenting more. And we have a lot of the top teams right now doing the same things over and over because it's working and they're comfortable. We have heroes like Meraxis who haven't been changed at all, and all of a sudden he goes from totally ignored to banned every single game because he's that strong. One thing that comes to mind for the SEA client is Emerald Warden. He seems to be very popular there, and on the international client, pretty hit or miss. We really don't see him too often. So it certainly could be shifts in the metagame. Again, with that different play style, as more people see SEA and CIS teams being successful with heroes we traditionally don't think of as very strong, certainly could have an impact on the metagame all over the world.
There have been expectations of having the Korean teams and the Latin American teams coming to HON. Do you think that they would have the same impact as Orange did in DreamHoN?
I don't see why not. I mean, especially Korean teams. I mean, again, because especially, of course, in Korea, esports is, you can even say that's where it really begun. That's where it really at least started to grow, obviously, with other games. So I would find it very hard to believe that the Korean scene wouldn't be able to compete in the South American scene, just as much. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't they be able to with the player base that I'm sure they definitely have down there? And, again, it's just different strategies, promotes different style of play. And, any given Sunday, really, any team can win. So it would be pretty awesome, or will be pretty awesome to see these other regions even coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really interesting about the Korean client is, as Breaky mentioned, that's a very esports friendly country, maybe the most friendly in the world, I think it's fair to say, especially as StarCraft Brood War and StarCraft 2 sort of opening the door for esports. They have kind of superior production and broadcasting capability over there, with it being on TV and more Koreans having access to it. And I know the Koreans tend to be a very prideful people, so anything that they're going to do, especially in a competitive environment like esports, they're going to be there to win. They're going to give it their all and go 110%. So I'm more than excited to see what the Koreans have in store, as well as the South Americans. As Breaky said, we've come across quite a few very strong South American players, and Team Inclement actually comes to mind, as I believe they were mostly comprised of South Americans.
Some players.
And they definitely had a little bit of their own play style that was slightly different from some of the international players, and it was always a pleasure to cast them. So I look forward to any kind of new experimentation, kind of as I said prior.
Thank you for your time. Is there anything you would like to say to the SEA and CIS community? Give your shout outs and greetings, please.
Just keep playing, guys. Obviously, it's a lot of fun, covering this scene, and although it's newer to myself and Zyori here, it's exciting, and I really do look forward to seeing more coverage of it. And as it grows, I'm sure we'll get plenty more of that. So definitely keep playing, and I can't wait to see more teams out there. As far as shout outs, shout out to you guys that are watching this, because again, it's always fun to shout out to the player base and to the community out there. Because again, without you guys, obviously, what would be the point of all this? So.
Absolutely, and I don't know if I could have said it much better than that, but I'm really looking forward to what you guys have in store as far as stirring things up in the international client, showing us different heroes that are quite powerful, that we haven't discovered their true potential yet. I'm really looking forward to that. One thing that I would really love is to have access to G Arena replays a little bit more easily. There is a way to do it, but it's a little bit messy. I host a show, the Zyori Breakdown, where we look at replays and different play styles, and it would be awesome to get some really good SEA style replays to take a look at, and I look forward to that as they become available.